stop now and explain this. By that I mean, if I draw a line like I did, and I found the center of this area, as I showed you previously. Let's see, center line. The center of this, and then the previously the way that I also found the center of the half line. Maybe this is it. Yeah, okay. This is the half line, make half the triangle. It looks like a jumbled mess, but the idea is that they just about are on exact centers. Sure, they're not perfect, but okay. Now I'll leave it like that. X marks the spot. That's the area that we're talking about. I would also like to point out every time I prayed I had a dream. So now I'm going to continue reading after I saw this star that defined the area. On February 1st, 1999, I drove to Texas to see this area for the first time. I found a mission for alcoholics and drug addicts in Pottsville, Texas, that is close to the center of the rectangle. The man in charge, Willie, invited me to stay there. I was very impressed with the work, and my faith in the power of the Word of God to change lives was renewed. I looked around the southern part of the rectangle, mostly, and visited realtors. I didn't find anything that I wanted to buy. On March 1st, 1999, I drove to this area again. I was more determined than before to find a place. I spent my time around Pottsville and Hamilton, Texas. I came close to buying 53 acres, but couldn't bring myself to do it. I felt that God should reveal the exact place to me if He was really in this. When I got back home, I felt that these trips were probably a waste of time and money, but I knew it was worth the effort if anything came out of it. On the night of March 20th, I again prayed for God to show me the exact place to go. I awoke in the morning and didn't remember that I had dreamed anything. The thought came to me that I would like to live around the town of Comanche and not the town of Gustine. Then I remembered the dream. It took place in front of a school building, and there were antiques there. When I saw them, I said that this is the place that I had dreamed of, but of course it wasn't. There was a young boy that had a very small wagon made of stone. I said that these things were from the 1700s. I asked him where the things came from, and he said they came out of the gym. I asked him if they were free. He said no. I then asked him what he paid for his wagon, and he said $5. There was another small wagon that was made of wood. It tilted up so that it looked like an empty picture frame. I could only see the bottom part of it as the top was behind a table. The bottom was shaped like a heart, or the outline of the state of Texas like you see on the road signs. The wagon was then on its wheels, and a large book was on it. As I paged through the book at its top corner, I could see paintings of beautiful tree branches. The book was full of paintings of scenery, and I thought my daughter Mary would like it. I looked in the front of the book for a price, and there was a round sticker that had 360 written on it. As I stepped back to decide if I wanted to buy it, the boy reached over and grabbed the handle of the wagon to claim it. He held the handle of his wagon in his right hand. That was the end of the dream. As I looked over a county map, I saw roads marked in the 300s. Then I saw County Road 360 going north out of Gustine for a few miles and ending in County Road 591. That then ends shortly in County Road 1702. I thought this must be the answer to my prayer because the dream was so rich in symbolism. But I knew that if I accepted it as true, I would limit myself to this road instead of the larger area where I could easily find a place. On April 11th, I went to Texas to see this county road. On the morning of the 12th, I drove the length of the road several times, but saw nothing for sale. There were very beautiful spots on the road, long tunnels of trees to drive through, completely covering the road by the Leon River. It was all forested. It was the most scenic place I had seen in this part of Texas. Because I found nothing for sale, I was very disappointed, to put it mildly. I then went on to Tennessee with my son Obed, who was following me in his car. I wanted to visit my friends and do some business there. I went back through Texas on the way home on April 19th. I had seen a property for sale on County Road 1476, where the other end of the 591 ends. I made them an offer and then left for Arizona. They turned down my offer, but came back with a counteroffer. By this time, I had decided that the property was not suitable for me. Once again, I was left hopeless. Okay, I'll stop here and mention that the County Road 360 that I figured was the place that I was supposed to buy something, a piece of property on, is only about 5 miles long. So it's a very short road. Now I'm going to continue reading. On May 6th, I prayed again, but this time I was very negative toward God and said that this was it for dreams, and that if anything was going to happen, it had to happen now. That night, or close to morning, I dreamed of a pile of large rocks that were to the left, and a huge, perfectly round boulder, bigger than a person, to the right. It was cut in half, but the other half was not there. There was a person between them that would go on the pile of rocks and then toward the boulder. They didn't know what to do, as they were totally confused. Then another person that I could only see from the back of their head said, "No, it's not there," meaning the pile of rocks. "And it's not there either," meaning the boulder. "There is a table carved out of the rock," meaning the other half of the boulder. "It's back there on your land. Go and see. It's back there. You'll see." The person between the pile of rocks and the boulder finally understood what was said. When I awoke in the morning, I told my wife that my mind was playing tricks on me, and then I told her the dream. I thought, I will go back for the last time, and if nothing is there, I will go to Tennessee and on to Missouri to look for land, as my friend was buying a place there. I left for Texas 2 days later on May 9th. As I turned onto County Road 360 from Route 36 in the morning of the 10th, I thought there probably wouldn't be anything different, but I still hoped. I drove to the first corner where I expected to find something, but nothing was there. I turned right. Then at the next corner I turned left. By this time I was getting upset, but thought, since I am going on to Missouri, it wasn't a wasted trip. As I drove a little way ahead, I saw a new sign on the bank to my left, First Call Realty. I was so surprised and said this must be it. I drove to the end of the 360 to see if anything else was for sale, but there wasn't. I went to see the realtor in Comanche. When she told me the price and all about the property, I went back to talk with the owner. I went back to the realtor and made an offer, which she suggested I do instead of giving them what they wanted. I went back to Arizona and waited for an answer. They made a counteroffer, which I accepted. The property is 37.849 acres. It is all fenced with a 6-wire barbed wire fence in good condition. There is an irrigation well in the center of the property, about 100 feet deep, and a 5-horsepower pump that produces about 80 gallons per minute non-stop, even in one of the worst droughts ever. The soil type is one of the best in this area for raising produce. About 30 acres is as flat as a table, but the property in front of us is not. On June 10th, 1999, we moved here, and the Lord has miraculously sustained us. Come and see where the Lord has led me. This is a true and factual account of my dreams. I believe God is the author and source because of both the complexity and need for this information, and because it was an answer to my prayers to know a place of refuge for Christians. See Matthew 24.